Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Honestly, I don't really like saying that, it sounds way too corny. Anyway, let's just jump into this one. I'm going to be soloing Pokemon Firered with a Pikachu, and there is no items allowed in battle. We'll start off naming myself Ross, of course, because, you know, that's my name. And then we gotta name our rival, which I will name Sub for obvious reasons. Anyway, if you're familiar with Pikachu at all, you know he is not the best Pokemon. His stats are pretty terrible. Let's go ahead and go get Pikachu from Professor Oak. I replaced Squirtle so my rival would have Venusaur, making him a pain in the ass. And we'll go ahead and name him Pikablue because I am not a creative person. Let's be honest. And let's jump into the battle that I immediately lose. So that's it, video over. Just kidding, that one doesn't count. Anyway, here's some footage of me fighting a Rattata for some reason that I don't know why I kept in. And I make my way to Viridian Forest to fight the first gym leader, who is going to be an absolute pain in the butt. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with Pokemon Firered, but Brock is a rock ground type Pokemon trainer, which basically means Pikachu is useless, more or less. So I am probably going to have to grind my butt off just to be able to beat him. But, you know, I don't want to grind too much because that won't make it very fun. So let's just keep making our way through Viridian Forest. I fight every single trainer because I know I'm going to have to grind. And let's not even get into how many hours it took me to get strong enough to beat Brock. Spoiler alert, I do beat Brock at some point, maybe, probably. I hope I'm not just spending this whole video fighting Brock, or it would probably be a very boring video, if it's not already. So as I make my way through the forest, I come to the realization I am definitely not strong enough to beat Brock. So I decide to go back to the first, or second technically, rival battle, where I cream him. He is gone. And then I make my way back to Pewter City just to give a little try at fighting the first gym trainer, which, well, it goes about as well as you'd expect it to go. I lose to the first Pokemon. So back to Viridian Forest for more grinding, which, don't worry, I cut out almost all of it. Once I have sufficiently grinded enough, I go ahead and make my way back to the original gym trainer with a new attack Double Team. Now, I went ahead and cut out all of Geodude's battle because it took an insane amount of time, but I was honestly not confident I could win. I am getting wrecked. It started to get real close here near the end, and I barely made it out of that fight. So now I can make my way to Brock. My first attempt at Brock is, well, rough. I had a decision to make whether to choose Tail Whip or Double Team, and I ended up going with Double Team, hoping that all of his attacks would miss. And if maybe I could get a lucky static effect to cause paralysis for Geodude, which does happen, but does not prevent this from being any more torturous, as I just sit there and peck away at him, and he just keeps getting stronger. Honestly, this goes on for a really long time, so I'm just gonna sit back until I lose. And there I go. My first loss to Brock. Whew, back to Viridian Forest for more grinding. I was about level 19 when I finally took on Brock again, and I cut out the whole Geodude part this time, don't worry. But I end up taking him down with a quick attack. And against Onix, I panic a bit and go for Tail Whip, but his Rock Tombs keep missing, giving me quite a bit of hope. And he hits me, and I lose. So I try again. This time I go for several Double Teams and Tail Whips in the hopes that Geodude will keep missing and that his defense will go down so that quick attack won't do 1 damage. Because if it does 1 damage, I'm going to run out of power points before I even get to Onix. and as you can see, he is not making this easy. I am really sorry for not cutting this one out, but it is a gym leader battle, so I mean, maybe I should keep it in. After what feels like an eternity of using quick attacks, I do finally get him low enough that I feel confident to use double team one more time and max out my evasion, because Onyx doesn't use Harden out the wazoo like Geodude does, making it a lot easier to use Tail Whip, or so I hope. And I do finally take out the Geodude, and in comes Onyx. But I have a lot of HP, so I'm really confident. And since my evasion is max, I just spam Tail Whip until his defense is low enough that I'm confident Quick Attack will do enough damage, which luckily does appear to be working out for me. I guess level 19 was the magic lucky number, and I finally take Brock out and get the first gym badge, the Boulder badge. I probably should be more excited, but Brock is ridiculously difficult and notorious for being hard, especially in these types of runs. But anyway, I make my way straight to Misty, since there's no way she can be as hard as Brock, since I'm an electric type, and she's a water type. I feel like I can crush her, easy peasy. So I go ahead and take out my new Thunderbolt rearing Pikachu, and one-shot both of her Pokemon, making this an absolute cakewalk. And with that, I get the Cascade badge and make my way to the next town, where I board the SS Anne and get a bunch of grinding done and battle my third or fourth, technically, rival battle, where I, Thunderbolt everything I see and Mega Punch a little bit, but mostly Thunderbolt. And of course, I get poisoned. But poison isn't really going to stop me from winning. So I get the HM cut from the creepy rubby back dude, and I go ahead and challenge the third gym leader, where I don't actually want to use Thunderbolt because it's not very effective. So I use Mega Punch instead, and my newly obtained Brick Break that I got from the SS Anne, which I knew would be useful considering all of the normal types in this game. So I take out the Voltorb, take out the Pikachu, and Raichu, I'm not gonna lie, worried me a little bit because I got paralyzed, but of course I Mega Punch him and he goes down, and we got the third gym badge. And now I make my way to the Rocket Hideout and face Giovanni, who terrifies me. He has a lot of ground type Pokemon, but luckily he also has a Kangaskhan that I can easily use Brick Break against and destroy. So this fight goes about as well as I had hoped it would go, and I end up almost losing. But I do get a Paralyze, which lets me go first, and I win with Brick Break. Too easy. Well, maybe not that easy. So now I go and face Erica, the fourth gym leader. And she's a grass type trainer, so she is going to be a pain. So I decide to go for double team, and then I instantly am paralyzed, which is, really bad. So all I have is Mega Punches and this paralysis, while all of her Pokemon also know Giga Drain, which means they're going to heal themselves faster than I can even do damage. But they constantly miss despite me only putting up 1 or 2 double teams. So I get extremely lucky. Well, I somehow pull out a victory. I'm not gonna lie, that was a little tense, but a win is a win. And now we move on to Rival 5, technically, who has a lot of Pokemon weak to electricity, so I have pretty high hopes that I'm going to be able to win, though his Ivysaur is a little bit scary. But because of the level gap, all I need to worry about is not getting statused, at least nothing too bad. I didn't really mean to be this much higher level, but when I was doing the Rocket Hideout and Erica, I could not win unless I grinded. It was impossible. I would need all of the cards to align. But anyway, I win, and I make my way all the way to Koga, the 5th gym leader. Now, this is not my first attempt. It actually took me several attempts because his Pokemon's defense was too high and they'd always use Toxic, which basically meant I would die, no matter what, because of how much damage I would end up taking. But I grinded up a little bit more, and I finally do 2 shots on a Weezing, so I get very lucky and do not die, and win the Soul Badge. And now I make my way to the Safari Zone, which is a requirement because I need to get the HM for Surf, and I need to get the teeth that belong to the Warden so that I can get the HM for Strength. So this is a little tangent. And I also find another double team. I wish I had that sooner. It would have been a lot more helpful. And with Surf in hand, I make my way all the way to Cinnabar Island. I decided to come here first so that I could get the secret key out of the way and to get a little bit of leveling up done. And with that I go to Silphco, the most annoying place on the planet, which I cut entirely out. And now it's time to battle Rival 6, technically. And this one, I lost. I lost a lot. I think so far this is probably the one I reset most on. But I do end up taking out both of his Pokemon with Thunderbolt, and I'm going to need a little bit of help from Double Team. Intimidate from Growlithe and Gyarados, my Brick Break and newly upgraded Strength, that might be a regret later, are unable to do any amount of damage, so I'm forced to use Thunderbolt on Alakazam, which I know he'll survive. I end up going for a Strength anyway because his defense is just that low, and take him out. And now Venusaur. This guy has wiped me more than 10 times, I can say it with confidence. So I get really lucky and dodge the Sleep Powder both times and end up taking him out. Just kidding. I do get put to sleep, but I wake up the next turn and take him out with a crit at that. Kind of brutal. It's finally time to take on Giovanni for a second time. Now, his Pokemon are actually pretty scary because all of them inflict poison except the Rhyhorns. And the Rhyhorns can hurt me with ground moves. So, this is not a fun fight. It actually took me several tries to beat this. I believe this is my first attempt, where I almost win. Really close. If only I didn't get poisoned so early on, I was sure I could win. So I just take the L and try again. And this time, I feel like it goes a lot better. I immediately put up Double Team because I need it to survive, and I get off a Static, which does nothing, and his Poison Sting misses, thankfully. So I go for Strength on Nidoqueen and instantly am hit by Poison. These are looking really bad, but I end up getting a Static off and accidentally clicking the help button that they included for some reason. Not really sure that was even a thing. Anyway, I go for Brick Break on Kangaskhan, he misses with Tail Whip. I go for Brick Break again, I win, I go against Rhyhorn, I need to kill him in 2 hits or I'm dead. And I win. Really close battle. I am surprised how basically every battle has been so close. So now all that's left is to clear up the last gym leaders. I make my way to Sabrina since she's the closest one, and I stress out a little bit because she's known to be the strongest Kanto gym leader. And I also only have 2 power points of Thunderbolt because I did not heal before this. So I take out Kadabra with Strength. I'm not sure if Mr. Mime has more special or defense, so I just go for Thunderbolt. He uses a barrier, then I go for Strength and she goes for Hyper Potion, and I take out the Mr. Mime easy peasy. Next up is Venomoth, and since I have no more Thunderbolts, I gotta go for Strength. And it gets off a weak little Psybeam on me, not much to worry about, but Alakazam is where I start to get worried. Strength almost kills it, but then Psychic almost kills me. And then she proceeds to use a Hyper Potion, and I get a crit, and take out Alakazam. Sabrina's badge is over. Easy, done. From that, I immediately go to Blaine and try out the 7th gym, which doesn't worry me too much, because Fire type and electric type are kind of neutral against each other. So I go ahead and take them all out with Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt, and then Rapidash comes out. Little bit of worry. Thunderbolt doesn't kill. Fire Blast misses, thankfully. And then I take out the Rapidash. And the Arcanine, I'm not really sure if I should be worried or not. It hits a Fire Blast, almost one-shots me, and I take out the Arcanine, netting me the Volcano badge. Easy. And now we come to the hardest battle, period. No doubt, 100%. This was insane. I had to grind for an insane amount of time to even defeat the gym trainers at this gym, because that's just how hard it was. You see, it's a ground type gym, and electricity doesn't do anything against ground. And Pikachu's moveset, not good. So I struggled. I struggled a lot. Even just beating the trainers in the gym. I couldn't even think of any strategies to win besides double team, which is what I do end up having to use. Even if I had grinded to level 100, I feel like I would still be struggling. But I did want to avoid hitting level 100 before I actually fought the Elite Four, just to give them a fair shot at beating me. One of the biggest issues I'm having is that every time I go to attack Nidoqueen, I get poisoned from Poison Point, which makes it nearly impossible to win unless I have enough HP. So this was hard. I reset 20, 30 times at least, but I do finally make some leeway. Maybe. All I can do is use Brick Break on the rock type Pokemon because Strength is useless, and I can't use Thunderbolt either because they're all immune to electricity. So I go for Strength on Nidoqueen at full HP. So maybe I got this. I'm dodging the Earthquake somehow, any Hyper Potions. So I gotta go for more Strength and pray I don't get hit with Earthquake because this poison is killing me fast. Somehow I two-shot Nidoking, and out comes his final Pokemon, a Rhyhorn. And I win. Oh my god, I won. And we got the Earth badge. And that was really hard. Now I have to face the final rival battle before I fight the champion. Oh boy. This is literally the champion, but weaker. And I lost several times. It was really hard, so you know I had to go for the double team method. I know it's kind of cheap, but trust me, there's nothing else I can do with a Pikachu at this point. Or at any point in this generation. This fight was really difficult. Not so much any of his Pokemon, except the Venusaur. That thing kept destroying me. And of course I get double intimidated again, so I can no longer use any physical moves or it's not going to do any damage. So, what do? I use Thunderbolt. A lot of Thunderbolts. And I pray I get a Paralyze, because I have 93 HP. And I do 1/6 maybe. But he keeps going for Growth, which is good and bad, because now his Razor Leafs will definitely one-shot me. But he misses every time. And I finally get the run I needed to defeat my rival for the last time. Now, it's been a hot minute since I actually played any of the Generation 1 games, so Victory Road took me longer than it probably should have. A little embarrassed to admit. I finally make it to the Elite Four, the Indigo Plateau. And this is my first attempt running through it with my level 80 Pikachu, who regrettably still knows Strength, but hopefully it's useful. Now, Loralee uses almost entirely... Loralee? Whatever. She uses almost entirely Ice types and Water type Pokemon, so I'm pretty confident I can win. And it goes well. It goes pretty good. It's all working out pretty well for me. I level up, I get stronger, I fight a Slowbro, I one-shot it with Thunderbolt, and out comes Lapras, who is a tank. A tank. And it confuses me, and heals. But I still hit it with Thunderbolt. And finally, Jinx comes out, who should be an easy one-shot, but it's not. And it puts me to sleep, and puts me under attract, and attacks me. And of course, I don't win. So, I go to grind. Now, unfortunately, because of how much I grinded against Brock, all of my EVs are in speed for the most part because of all of the Caterpies and whatnot. So I have no options in increasing any of my stats because berries that lower stats are not in this generation, unfortunately. So I grind in Victory Road, which is really stupid because then I remember, hey, I can fight the Elite Four and grind. What am I doing? So that's exactly what I do. And I grind for a long time. If Lauralee gives me trouble and she's the easiest, then I know I'm in for a lot. So I just go for it. Now unfortunately Lapras is really annoying because I cannot one-shot it at level 82 or 83 or 84, and it confuses me constantly. But I push through it, and I also taught my Pikachu Double Edge in Victory Road and got rid of Strength because I knew it could work as some kind of suicide attack. And so we move on to Bruno, who unfortunately uses Earthquake. So I feel like maybe it's time for a little bit of double team. But since this is just a dry run, I take my time. And I just see how it works. And of course, I lose. Not surprising. So I go back and I try again. I'm pretty confident I can win, but I don't know. Bruno is actually really hard for once. Not just his Onyxes either. His other Pokemon are really annoying. Hitmonchan is the safest Pokemon, so sometimes I would set up Double Team on him because I need Double Team to dodge Machamp's attack or it will kill me, without a doubt. But I make it to Machamp, I use some Thunderbolts, pray for Paralyze, he misses, pray for Paralyze, Paralyze, heal, full restore. And well, I lost this fight. Real close though. Now unfortunately, I don't have the footage I actually had of beating Bruno, so we're just gonna move on to Agatha. Just pretend I won there. Her first Pokemon, Gengar, will spam you with confusing and double teaming, making it nearly impossible to win. I'm pretty sure after enough bad luck, I decided just to reset it because at this point, there was no way I was gonna win. So I come back and I try again. And this time, it goes way more smoothly. Unfortunately, I'm just kidding. There is no unfortunately. I take out her first Gengar, easy peasy, destroy the Golbat with Thunderbolt, and out comes Arbok, who I then proceed to not destroy with Thunderbolt and am hit by a Sludge Bomb, no poison, and I kill it. Well, maybe I shouldn't say kill. Well, anyway, her ultimate Gengar comes out and proves to be easy. And Haunter is easy. Agatha, not actually that hard. I'm a little surprised. I feel like this order is all wrong. But now I can finally move on to Lance, the champion, in quotation marks. And, oh boy, Lance. This guy was the hardest. He was basically the champion, as far as I'm concerned. I could easily kill his Gyarados, or faint his Gyarados, but all of his dragon Pokemon, well, not fun at all. So, here is my first run through Lance, after I finally make it to him, and I lose. So, after fighting Lance a lot, I come to this horrible realization that I am not a high enough level. And unfortunately, this time there is an unfortunately, I realize I need to grind way more. I need to be level 100. So, I try to fight Lance again, and it goes about as well as you'd expect it to. Well, and I lose. So, I grind. Just thinking about it, it's bringing me on some sweats. But at level 100, at level 100, and a lot of double teams. I am not proud to say that, but I gotta do what I gotta do. I can finally face Lance. So I set up against Gyarados, and I destroy him after using him, because, you know, that's how it be. And Dragonairs somehow get a crit. Thunderbolt Dragonite, Paralyzed Dragonite, heals. Thunderbolt, Outrage, Thunderbolt, 38 health left, and I feel like I lost, but I outspeed the Aerodactyl, and I win. And that's it. Lance is gone. Lance is done. Easy. This is actually the first time I made it to the champion. And I didn't even bother using a PP restoration thing, like an ether or an elixir, because I was just dry running this fight. So, here I am. The strongest trainer in the game. Sub. I Thunderbolt the Pidgeot for an easy kill, but Rhydon will probably one-shot me. But I get a crit Brick Break. And here comes Alakazam. I don't take any chances and use a double edge. And Gyarados, who will also be an easy one-shot from Thunderbolt. And here comes Arcanine, which, if you remember from Blame's fight, he does a lot of damage. And he hits me, and it does a lot of damage. But he goes for a full restore, so I hit him again, goes for another full restore. Now I went for Brick Break because I didn't know he'd use another. And I'm not sure if this will kill, and I get a crit. And all that's left is Venusaur. Now, I am not ready to fight Venusaur. I panic a bit and go for Thunderbolt. He charges a Solar Beam, so I decide just to go for Double Team, and it misses. And I hit another Thunderbolt, which paralyzes him. He can't move, but he heals with a Citrus Berry. The Thunderbolt again, and I realize I am out of PP, and I hit him with a Double Edge. And that's it. The hardest trainer in the game. And I beat him. I beat him on my first try. That is insane. That's actually insane. I'm sorry. Wow. Okay. So I did it. It took me 20 hours almost, I think it was. But I finally managed to win. I have always wanted to do a video like this because honestly I watch them all the time at work. So this was really fun. Thank you for watching. And I hope to see you again. That's it. Bye.